everyone, I'm the Peculiar Pisces and welcome to my channel. Today is Friday, October 17th, 2025, and this is Flosstube video number 62. I'm back with my weekly update, although it's been 2 weeks since the last time that I filmed. I've had some pretty good progress on some projects and some not great progress on some of the other ones. Give me just a moment because it looks like I forgot something. Okay, I had forgotten my books upstairs. So I'm just going to hop right into it. Project number 1. Project number 1 is Mirabilia's August Peridot Fairy. And this one I've had a lot of progress. Like the last time you saw it, I was still just up in the upper areas of up here. So I've gotten quite a bit done on this. This is BestitchMe's 28 count Opal Lugana in Wild Bouquet. And this is 2/2, but the skin, I actually did it 1/1, full cross, not 10 stitch. I actually finished the rest of her arm. So for that one, let's see. For that one, I put in 3 hours and 38 minutes and 45 seconds the previous week of 10/6 to 10/12. And that had brought my total time to 41 hours, 6 minutes, and 30 seconds. And then this week, 10/13 to 10/19, so far I've done 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 0 seconds. And it's brought my total time to 46 hours, 54 minutes, and 31 seconds. So this past week, it's been my children's fall break, the start of it, and next week as well. So like I would start working on one and then like I wouldn't hear my notification, or I've been interrupted so many times that I just kept trying to work on it. And so I have to switch it out of my stand and I just didn't feel like switching it. So like the first week that, that I missed because I was filling in for a coworker on Friday, I, was able to cycle through my projects as usual. Friday, the kids got out early, and then I ended up having to take them into work with me. But yeah, so this week is the one that I just, because they've been home, and I don't know, I've really been focusing on this one. I'm not sure why. So then project number 2 is Loose Thread Stitchery's Orchid Blackwork pattern, and I purchased this off of Etsy. And this is the 18 count fabric that I hand dyed myself in a Come Dye With Me video. And here has been my progress. I got a little bit more work over here. I think I finished out this greenish yellow color. I got some pink in. I got, lots of white over here. But this project hadn't been as much of, I don't know, like I said, I just been focusing on the Mirabilia for some reason. So then the week of 10/6 to 10/12, I put in 2 hours, 54 minutes, and 16 seconds. and it had brought my total time to 4 hours, 33 minutes, and 42 seconds. And then this week of 10:13 to 10:19, I just didn't get to it at all. Like, I did not touch it at all this week. And then project number 3 is Waterfalls of Jade by Nene Thomas. And here's the progress that I've been getting. I've just been trying to finish across to this edge. I'm using Stitching Mommy's like typewriter method, where you focus on a 10 by 10 block and then you pick a symbol, you stitch it, and you usually stitch it as far as you can. And I had started doing that over here. And because I'm not on gridded fabric, I started losing count of trying to stitch it out. So then I started just parking it, and I'm really like, it's a hot mess. I pick a color and I do the stitches in that block, and then I either park it in the block below or I park it in the block to the right. And then when I get to that block, it's the same thing. I'll stitch all the stitches in that block and then either park it below or park it to the right. So I have finished the edge of page, I think it's 3. I think it's 6 pages across. So I think it's the edge of page 3, I think, here that I finished. That is 22 count Hardinger that I hand dyed in a Come Dye With Me video. There should be a link in the description for that one as well. I started doing that 1/1, and then I didn't like the coverage, so then I started doing it 2/1. And unless you're really, really close, you can't see the difference. So just in the first couple of blocks that I did it 1 by 1, you can't tell unless you're so close to it. And while I'm the one that's close to it, I just didn't like the coverage of the 1/1. So I had to switch it to 2/1. I just like how much fuller it looks. It's just personal preference. So then that one, the week of 10/6 to 10/12, I put in 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 6 seconds, and it had brought my total time to 23 hours, 7 minutes, and 43 seconds. And I had worked on it 3 days that week, and of those 3 days, whoa, hi, whoa, hi, okay, whoa, 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 calm down. Wow, you came inside with the zoomies. Wow, that's my dog Minion. She's a big dog. You good now? You good? No? Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, all right. Whoa, okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, stop it. All right, I'm gonna pause this. Okay, wow. I apologize for that. That was a little insane. She usually does that stuff with my husband, not with me. So I was a little unprepared for that. Okay, anyway, Last week I got in 274 stitches total. And I was at 2,241 stitches out of 244,860 and at 0.92%. And then this week, 10:13 to 10:19, I got to work on it one day for 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 9 seconds. And that brought my total time to 24 hours, 12 minutes, and 52 seconds. And I got to put in 117 stitches when I worked on it. So it brought me to 2,358 stitches out of 244,860. And I'm at 0.96%. I am so close to 1%. So close. And then project 4 is my Dimensions Indian Peacock kit. I'm using the called for fabric and the provided. I'm using the kit fabric and the kit floss. I don't know why I said called for. So this is 14 count natural Aida. And I don't know what floss they use. And then here is my progress on that. I've just been working and filling this up. And again, I have not worked on this one very much. I don't know why the Mirabilia got so much attention this past week. I don't know if it was just easier because I was already working on it, and so I just kept working on it. In here. So the week of 10/6 to 10/12, I got to work on it 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 9 seconds. And that brought my total time to 29 hours, 19 minutes, and 35 seconds. And then this week, 10/13 to 10/19, haven't touched it. Did not touch it at all. So that was basically last week's progress. So that was my 4 main projects. And then I did not do any temperature projects. I just don't have the time to fit them in. And so the project that I started a couple weeks ago, this one, is the one that I've been working on. I've been putting in at least 1 strand a day. There was a day last week that I met up with a friend at a coffee shop and we did crafts together at the coffee shop. I brought that along because I was like, I don't want to take any of my 4 main projects because if I spill coffee, that project is now ruined. Or, if someone orders some sort of juice and gets spilled on it, that project's now ruined. This one, it wouldn't so much be ruined because I would just throw it in the wash machine and let it wash off all the pre-printed stuff, and then I would just use the pattern. I would just follow the pattern and continue doing what I was doing. So that was my thought process on that. And then over the weekend, that was the only thing that I got to work on. Like I would sit down for like 5 minutes and be like, okay, I want to stitch. And I would pull this up and start stitching on it. And then one of my kids or my husband would come and get me. And then so I would just put it down, walk away. 20 minutes later, I'd be like, oh, okay, I can stitch again. So I'd sit down and stitch. And then like 10 minutes later, someone would come and get me again. And it's like rinse and repeat. And honestly, that's how my days are with the kids. I'll sit down to start stitching and then one of them will come get me. And then, 15 minutes later, I get to come back to it. And I think that's why the Mirabilia got so much attention because I had put it on my stand. And it's just one of those bedside stands. I've shown it before, but it's been a while since I showed it. But anyway, I just have that one stand. And so I would switch out my projects in that one stand. And I think because I would just hopping up and down, it was just easier. It was already in the stand. I was just working on it, 20 minutes ago, and so I think that's why the Mirabilia got so much focus. It was just easier. The other reason that the Waterfalls of Jade got some attention and not the other two is because of the fact of switching out, because those three I switch out with that one stand. The project number 3, the Waterfalls of Jade, is in its own stand, and it's right there at the couch in my library. So I also had time to sit there. And when I did work on that one, the kids actually left me alone, that I was able to, focus enough on that one for like that, one day that I worked on it. So yeah, the Mirabilia was just easier since it was already on the stand, and I'm just interrupted so much. And, with me working, my schedule's just been all over the place. So anyway, back to this one. This has been getting more attention than I thought it was going to get, simply because of the interruptions and just working on this on the weekends. And like I said, I'm trying to put on at least one strain a day, because this will be years in the making because of how huge it is. So here it is. Wow. See, even I have to hold it so far back. Here is my progress on it. I am into the second row of stitches, and I'm about here. So that's so big, I turned it on its side, and I'm basically using Stitching Mommy's method of focusing on the 10 by 10 block and stitching it out. So I do have some that come down further. Now, maybe this side without the print is a little bit easier to see, and you can see where it's come down some colors. I've even got one that the color was used up here. It was in here, like one of these reds that are right in here. But like there were no other, I kept on rolling, and I finally found some that were all the way down here. So this one is coming along, since I am getting to work on it a little bit more than usual. I expect that once, no, I don't really think so, because my weekends are so hectic with the kids and the family, and trying to get stitching in. So, I mean, it's probably going to be like this. I might actually get it done in 4 years instead of 8 years, because that's what I get to work on the weekends. And it's easy to pick up because I don't have to count and figure out where I am. So, but that's it. That's been my projects for the past 2 weeks. It's kind of a shorter video than I expected, but yeah. Oh, I don't know if I've mentioned, this is it's 11 count, and the instructions said to use 3 strands, but I hate doing odd strands. I like to do loop start, and or pin stitch if the thread is too short to do loop start. But I don't like having odd numbers. I don't like doing the loop start for the odd numbers. I don't know. I just don't like doing it. So instead of pulling out 3 individual strands and then using a really long piece like it's suggesting, I'm just pulling out 2 strands and doubling it over, so it's 4 strands. And then I'm doing my loop starts. And then if I have to cut it, then I'm doing a pin stitch for my starts. I dislike odd numbered and doing loop starts. I just don't like it. So anyway, yeah. Oh, I'm not sure if I want to keep these Chinese words that are in the pattern. When I Google translate it, what did it say? It says like the bad translation that came up was four coming east air purple. So it's probably like four winds of the east, four purple winds of the east, or something like that. I don't know if I want the Chinese words. So right now, as I'm stitching that area, I'm doing the main color and I'm skipping the black lettering. And what I want to do is stitch out the entire thing to make sure that there is enough of this cream colored um, floss. I don't know what color it is. It's 819. So I want to make sure that I have enough of 819 that the kit provided before I come back through and then stitch it in 819. So I'm just being overly cautious because there is probably enough. There is probably more than enough. And I don't really want to have to go out and buy an 819 for one of these pre-printed kits. I don't know. So I'm just going to stitch the whole thing, and then once I've finished it, and if there's enough 819, then I will go ahead and fill it in. And then if not, I haven't decided if I'm gonna fill it in with black. I just don't know. So anyway, that's it. Those are my, I guess, 5 projects now. My 4 main projects and this time waster. No, it's not a time waster project. How would I classify this? It's the one that the easy pick up put down project. That's too many words. Anyway, so that's it. I will see everyone next week, and then a reminder that I am working on Halloween. I'm filling in somebody's shift on that. And so I will not be filming on Halloween Friday. That's it. So I will see everyone next week.